Hey 143 fam, we're going to be taking a look at your mid-month of horoscopes here. If you haven't checked out your full month of January video yet for love and for your general overview, make sure you do that. For those of you interested in my giveaway this month, I'm going to be choosing two winners. You'll get to decide between a free reading or a free healing session. If you'd like to be considered, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below your video, and I will notify winners at the very end of the month. Now let's see what the second half of January has in store in love. Hey Leo, this reading is for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising in love, January 15th through the end of the month. Leo in love, January 15th through the end of the month. Leo in love. I'm hearing that someone's being very distant or very distracted. Are you trying to distract yourself with work so that you don't have to feel an abundance of emotion right now? I'm definitely seeing some Leos using work, Spirit's calling it a crutch, like using work as a crutch to not be so emotional, to not feel emotions. I am seeing that some Leos, some single Leos, may not entertain a new partner showing up over the next 2 weeks. Work has your focus, there's a distraction, but Leo, there's a reason why you may be using work as a distraction. I'm almost seeing too, some Leos had felt so emotional that you just needed like a break. Like Leo's like, okay, so this is just too intense. I'm giving myself a break. I'm giving myself a timeout. I'm going to focus on work. I'm going to channel this energy into something else. And then once I sort of revamp a little bit or regroup a little bit, I'll circle back and then I'll process the rest. I'm seeing something at work triggering the emotion again. So don't be surprised if universe is like, I hear you, Leo. And there's actually some positivity in that. Those of you who are able to channel emotions into something maybe creative or to inspire something with work. But I see spirit, I see universe like circling back like, I know you need a break. I know you feel like this is too much or someone's too much. Something was too heavy, but we got to come back because there needs to be some healing done here. You owe it to yourself, okay? If you're going through that process, don't be surprised if more healing and more emotion shows up the next couple of weeks ahead. But Leo, there is a break. There is a reprieve, but you're going to appreciate it more when you're not burying emotions to give yourself a break. When you can say, okay, well, I've really released all of this. I've honored this. I've let go of this, or I've dealt with this. And now I get a break because I've done the work. Does that make sense? So I see some of you just like really being like, I can't emotionally process this. I need a distraction. And Spirit saying, I'm sorry, Leo, we can't do that the rest of this month, okay? But there's progress here. I do see universe aligning you with people who can support you too. But I do see you being distracted from a partner. Something's going on. You're distracted, not just from your own emotions, but I must see like Leo's maybe even saying to a partner, if a partner is very emotional, Leo just being like, I can't. There's some sort of drama. There's something dramatic about this. I just can't entertain that energy. For those of you who feel like a partner is showing up a little dramatic, a little unhealthy, you're stepping out of that. These next 2 weeks, there's not a shot. There's not even like a 1% chance Leo's going to entertain that, okay? So for Leo's partners, approaching Leo in a really dramatic, reactive way is going to push Leo away the next 2 weeks, okay? So let's get a little bit more clarity on this, Leo. Leo in love. I feel somebody pressuring you. And that could be what feels like drama. Somebody pressuring Leo for an answer, pressuring Leo for a commitment, pressuring Leo for forgiveness, pressuring Leo to do something that Leo isn't ready to do. Also understand, you may be trying to control your emotions by suppressing them, by looking for something to distract you. That's a way of controlling your emotions because things have gotten a little too intense. If you let go and allow yourself to feel the next couple of weeks, you'll be in a much better position in 2 weeks from now, heading into February, than you will if you don't. February could be very difficult for Leos who don't want to feel their emotions right now. I know the eclipse is making things very difficult. This full moon energy, this eclipse energy, it feels particularly emotional for you, Leo, and that's okay. There's no weakness in that. If somebody is showing up in there, maybe coming across dramatic, take a step back before you react, before you cut them out, before you distance yourself and say, okay, is this truly drama? Or are these real feelings? Maybe this person isn't showcasing them to me in the most evolved way, but is there some truth here? Should I be paying attention to this? Shutting down really isn't going to be the answer the next 2 weeks, but I do see that being like a temptation. Center the reading here. I do see loss of love here for some Leos. I don't see this being new over the next 2 weeks, but I see that loss of love, especially if you feel like you may have suppressed emotion for quite some time. This is coming up and out. It's like this love for somebody resurfaces, and that may be really confusing. Like, I closed that door. I cut those cords. I've been done with this. Why do I all of a sudden feel love for this person again? It's because something's coming up and out. I do think for a small percentage of Leos, this love resurfacing may inspire a reconciliation, and that doesn't necessarily feel like the wrong thing to do. But there's love coming up and out. I do see a partner feeling emotions very intensely and sort of like showing, I'm seeing or like hearing like a dramatic display of emotions. The word drama and Leo are not going hand in hand these next 2 weeks. But it's almost like somebody just showing up unannounced. I love you, Leo. I can't let this go. I'm going to fight for you. That kind of energy is going to feel controlling, and you're going to push that person away. So for Leo partners, make sure that you approach Leo with authenticity, but absolutely no drama. Anything that feels like pressure to a Leo, it's just the end of the road at this point. Leo can't handle it. Leo's too vulnerable right now. There's something emotional going on. True love is followed by chemistry. You know, there is love here in the mix. And there's loss of love here in the mix for some of you, but for those of you feeling like love has been lost, it may be particularly challenging to recognize that you still have physical chemistry with somebody. I was getting something about being triggered at work, like using work as a distraction, but then being triggered there. So did you meet love at work? Is there somebody at work that you've had a separation with, and all of a sudden you have to be around them and you're like, oh my God, this chemistry is just like off the charts? Could this person really be my true love? That could be very confusing over the next 2 weeks, thinking that something's done and universe showing you something very different, okay? Honor these emotions. If you channel them into anything, channel it into something creative, channel your emotions into something active, like a sport, a physical activity. I just heard to cook. Someone should be cooking and baking and getting really creative with food. It's going to be a really beautiful release instead of feeling like you have to like stuff it all down. I'm going to put this out there for you too, Leo. When we bury emotions, that tends to trigger like overeating, right? Like eating our emotions. You know, I'm guilty of that sometimes. Try not to do that. Try to recognize that something could be buried. And if you feel like you're an emotional eater, you may be triggered to do that at this time. It's not about, again, controlling yourself and saying, okay, I can't eat anything bad because I might be emotionally eating. Just honor the reflection as it shows up so that you can heal it. There's definitely a lot of healing over the next 2 weeks, and you can't distract yourself from it. You can't push it away. Clarifying, let go of control issues is love yourself. This is about love. Self-love, this is about self-healing and nurturing. Leos feel very sensitive right now. I feel like Leo can become detached and appear unemotional to those that love Leo when Leo is feeling particularly vulnerable. Like, I'm going to keep you at arm's length because I don't feel safe being vulnerable around you at this time. Leo, you know that you can do that, and I respect that, but I don't know. There's something here about love resurfacing, and if you're pushing away love, especially if they trigger that through being a little dramatic, it feels like someone could regret that down the road. The finances and career, I'm telling you, Leo, there's something at work that's triggering love. True love, center the reading. Clarified by finances and career. Someone's using work to bury this and these emotions and this connection, and yet it almost feels like when you're here, when you're trying to distract yourself, it's making these feelings even stronger. Someone's showing up. I just heard someone showing up in the cards for you. Sure, we're doing this reading. There's someone showing up in the cards for you, but that feels like a very personal message. Are you doing your own cards and your own reading at home? There's somebody particular showing up in the cards for you. You could be doing healing work for other people, and you're seeing messages that also pertain to you and your love life. Someone showing up in the cards for you. Chemistry clarified by keep an open mind. I just think it's going to be a little shocking if you have the clarity over the next 2 weeks that there's still chemistry, that there's still love, that there's somebody in your workspace that you shouldn't have chemistry with, that you feel like you shouldn't. Keep an open mind. Keep an open mind to a reconciliation here. As much as somebody, and if you feel like you're not burying emotions, Leo, your partner could be doing this. You know, these messages go both ways. You may have a partner who's distancing themselves and burying emotions because things are getting too intense. It's going to resurface. Whoever is bearing emotions, it's not going to be successful for too much longer because Spirit's trying to circle you back to what's real right now. Keep an open mind to a possible reconciliation. Keep an open mind to that person maybe showing up in the cards or showing up in the picture. Also, don't just shut somebody out because on paper or for logical reasons maybe you can convince yourself that it shouldn't work. Oh, but we work together. We can't do that. Boundaries, the workspace, whatever. The heart wants what the heart wants. And I feel like some of you may be having to deal with some clarity, like my heart still wants this person. My heart is still in love. You may have a partner dealing with those emotions like, Leo, like I know we called it quits on this, but my love continues to resurface for you. Like, what can we do about this? Do you have an open mind? Can you honor the fact that we still have this chemistry? Or have you shut all the way down? I do think some Leos may have shut all the way down, especially if someone was very hurtful and very dramatic in the mix. That's not somebody Leo is going to be too keen on allowing back in, but it doesn't mean there isn't still love there. Crowning your reading is soulmate. I'm going to pull one more crowning for you, Leo, because I feel like you need it. Oh, 3. Okay. So we have soulmate, separation. It is safe for you to love. I'm telling you, Leo, there's someone you've separated from that's actually good for you. There's someone you've separated from that may be triggering some really serious emotions in you right now. They have to come up and out. What you bury is going to hurt you. What you allow up and out, even though it feels more painful going through that process, it's going to free you from pain. If you acknowledge the pain and the grief over the next 2 weeks, if that comes up for you, or any sort of challenging emotion, it could be anger, I think, for some of you. You get that up and out, you go into February free. But if you continue to bury, it's like the emotions are just going to pile up. And February could be a very difficult month for you if you choose to go that route. But we have soulmate, separation. It is safe for you to love. Somebody wants to come back. Somebody wants to come back. You may want somebody to come back. Calling in your soulmate. Bottom of the deck, you could be calling a soulmate back. Again, crowning the reading, we have soulmate. Bottom of the deck, we have soulmate. Center of your reading, we have true love. There's love here. So if you're still in love, I think this person's going to return. If there's real love here, even if someone's afraid of their emotions, you may be in the beginning stage of relationship and it got too intense and there's too much soulmate energy and somebody just shut down because they out of fear, they didn't know how to handle or process that or even trust that. There is somebody safe in the mix here. There is somebody safe, even if it doesn't feel safe because of these emotions, because you may be feeling a little pressured by somebody. For some of you, separation is what actually winds up healing a relationship. You can come back together long term. The separation feels like for some of you, it's a blessing in disguise. Try to keep an open mind. Now, if you absolutely will not allow somebody to come back into the picture, please allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Get it up and out. February is supposed to be a beautiful month for you, Leo, and you may sacrifice that if you're controlling emotions and you're suppressing emotions. You may get sick. This could physically hurt you if you do this. You're going to feel good by the time you get to February if you stay in that flow of emotions. But I do feel like you should be using those emotions towards something. Using them toward a spirit is saying like communication. Like creative communication, emotional communication, creative communication. that could be, again, channeling that into a creative project. Could that be writing? That could just be journaling, creative communication. Maybe you just start jotting down some ideas for poems or something like that. That might actually come in handy for those of you that are creative down the road. It may actually bring like a project full circle or launch something that winds up being very meaningful. I'm also seeing that some of you could be communicating about emotion to help other people process their healing journey. You may be discussing your own healing journey to help other people in love. Now, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're doing that for a partner. It feels like you could be doing that for work, or you could be volunteering somewhere, like offering your services, offering your wisdom to somebody. But it feels like there's supposed to be movement. So again, up and out for sure, but channel that emotion into something positive for yourself. If you have to go for a run, you have to go to the gym, you have to lift weights, you have to just dance like sporadically to yourself, by yourself alone in your living room. It's like that energy needs to come up and out. And it doesn't mean everybody has to be emotional and hysterically crying the next 2 weeks. If that's you, though, just like honor that. Honor the release. Spirit's bringing me back to this. Also honor that someone may step back into the picture. I'm just saying, Leo, you have free will. You're going to choose what feels of the highest good for you, but someone may come back. Someone just feels like they're still in love. There's somebody still in love in this. If at the very least, some loose ends need to be tied up. Like someone's going to get peace, they're going to get closure so they can move on after a separation. But I don't know. It still feels like there's a lot of love for many of you in the mix. All right, Leo, if you feel like you need more clarity than this, reach out to me. I'm available for private readings, energy healing work, which you know that I specialize in. I will be back February 1st for your full month of February reading. But in the meantime, I'm sending you so much love, like gratitude. I'll see you back here soon. Love you, Leo. Ciao.